Disclaimer: I am a noob. There are plenty of experienced players wandering the beautiful world of Vana'diel today who can share stories of better times and truly insane fights. I cannot. But what I can share is my love and affection for this 20-year-old masterpiece. What you're about to hear is a mix of opinion, experience, and research from both myself and the legends of Vana'diel. My story starts when I was around 12. I had recently played .hack Infection and was blown away. The only thing my little prepubescent mind was chasing was that MMO lifestyle and becoming an in-game legend. Spoiler, I didn't. Not even close. I remember my mom had come home with a sealed copy of this game after I refused to shut up about it. I completely shit my pants. But I should have saved that for the first boss fight. Play online. What a horrible thing this was. Awesome music, neat concept, but a complete and utter nightmare. I remember being on the verge of tears trying to set this up. Once I did, I felt like a burden was lifted off my back, like I actually leveled up. The first boss was down, and I didn't even have to boot up the game. And don't get me started on trying to cancel your payment. The concept of play online was actually pretty cool. I think it was essentially what was featured in .hack and kind of what Steam is today. You had to boot up Final Fantasy XI through the Play Online launcher, but it had features that we all kind of take for granted today. If I remember correctly, you could see which of your in-game friends were online, set up your profile, and a few other trivial things. It was sort of a game launcher, Final Fantasy XI news, and social media hub for players of the game. Again, really cool concept that just kinda flopped. And here we move on to the races of the world. From big to small, from ordinary to what could have had the potential to turn me into a furry. This game had some really original takes on who you could be. We'll start with the most basic bitch of them all, Hume. It's a fairly balanced race that's pretty much your jack of all trades. No real complaints, nobody special, but he gets the job done. Now for what I started out as back in the day. The spindly, arms going down to your kneecaps, long-haired, oddly sexy Elvan. If I recall, these guys were good as warriors. At least, as a child, I always had mine wielding a spear despite not knowing that Dragoon was a class at the time. I also seem to remember seeing people rolling White Mage with these guys. How can something be so off-putting, yet arousing? Have you played the critically acclaimed, award-winning game of the universe Final Fantasy XIV? Let me introduce you to Final Fantasy XI's version of the original Papato, the Tataru. These guys were always so cute. I love them. I currently am one, and if you don't like them, then you can fuck right off. They're cool as shit and slaughter when it comes to magic. Look at that potato. Here we have the absolute sexiest class in the game. One that the dean from Community would say, I hope this doesn't awaken anything in me. It's the Mithra. I think it explains why, or at least part of the reason why, so many of us poor bastards have a thing for cat girls. The Makode carries on the torch for younger generations. Godspeed, you bright stallions. Oh, yeah, speed. These guys excel at agility-based classes. Ready for the daddies of this world? Meet the Galka. These are some big daddies who just want to hold you and keep the world safe with their immense strength and high vitality. If you've played a Final Fantasy game before, then you know all about how many and how cool the classes are. Final Fantasy XI features quite a bit of them, but we're just going to be going over the base classes and their functionality within the game. Quick note, this game makes each class feel unique, unlike certain other games. Final Fantasy XIV. The combat has an almost turn-based feel to it, and most of the fighting involves navigating a series of menus. The battles are slow-paced, and rarely do you feel overwhelmed. This gives you the ability to plan and set up strategies with your teammates. If you are a white mage, you are generally standing back and healing. Very rarely will you be DPSing. As mana fades, you will have to rest and recoup it, similar with black mage. You will not be up close at all and will be casting from a safe distance. Even the physical classes feel very different from each other. There is a system of TP management where using your skills and how heavy that skill hits is based on a TP bar. The higher the bar, the higher the damage. Combining skills can result in a skill chain. There are different levels of this chain, as well as elements that will affect damage as well. You can cap the chain with a magic burst. There are also macros that you can make that act as a hot button for skills or magic, or even changing armor sets. Something that sets this game apart from others is the ability to change gear mid-battle, effectively raising and lowering certain skills or stats. Each player gets a job and a sub-job. The sub-job is half the level of your main job. The possibilities are endless. This experimentation and uniqueness of classes is something I feel a lot of modern MMOs are lacking, but I'm rambling. On to the classes. Warrior. Specializing in the arts of battle, warriors act as shields, protecting their comrades from enemy attacks. Believe back in the day these guys were sort of your tanks, but function better as a damage dealer nowadays. Monk. With their bodies that double as deadly weapons, monks attack enemies with explosive strength-filled punches and kicks. Pretty much with this class, it's a bona fide badass. You fuck shit up and start the game out without a weapon. Only a single white belt. This is an easy to learn but very powerful damage dealer. White Mage. By using recovery spells and healing magic, white mages ensure a party survival. I love this class. It's one of the few games where you can stand back and support your team without having to DPS or worry about anything else but MP management. Bard is like that too, and as a class I'm very much looking forward to unlocking. I imagine coupling a Bard with a white mage sub-job would be very useful and might get me into parties even though I suck horribly. Black Mage. Through devastating magic spells, black mages bring tremendous firepower to the battlefield. Again, love this class. It's so cool when you get the chance just to throw spell after spell at an enemy. You are glass, you will die very fast, but the trade-off is feeling like a god among men. Red Mage. These fighter mages can utilize both black and white magic, as well as the arts of the sword. Now, this has always been a favorite of mine since I played the first Final Fantasy growing up. Having the ability to physically attack, heal, and support others, and cast a spell to target an enemy's elemental weakness, or even apply debuffs, is awesome. I'm not sure how it fares in the game personally, but I imagine it's a great class to pick if you see yourself as a solo player. Pretty much as close as one can get to the Twin Blade class from .hack. Thief. Specializing in covert actions, thieves are masters of the art of controlling the flow of battle. This is a really fun class to play. You have the ability to do some serious burst damage and help make sure aggro is on the right person. It's such a cool feeling to be in the middle of a fight and still something away from an enemy. I've always loved fast and agile classes, and this is it. Your teammates will love you for your treasure hunting ability, which boosts the chance of something rare dropping. So what sets this apart from other MMOs? As you can already tell, this game sets itself apart from others just based upon the combat. But there are a few other things which make this game more immersive and unique than anything else around. Before leaving town, it's always wise to get a signet. This allows you to get crystals from an enemy you defeat, as well as boost your nation's rank in whatever area you happen to be at. There are 3 nations. Bastok is my favorite. It's the nation of the Humes and of the Galka. Sandoria, home of the dirty, freakish Elven. And Windurst, the natural habitat of the Mithra and Tataru. Taru. Tataru? Huh. Something I love, that I imagine would push some people away, is the lack of fast travel. You can get dim crystals, which allow a black or white mage to teleport you to them, although some will charge you gil. Most of this game is done on foot, or on chocobos. You have to pay, wait for, and ride ships to get across the realm. I really enjoy the scenery in this world, and having to travel is what really draws you into it. There are so many sights to see, so many things hidden in the world, and this allows you to truly explore each and every bit. You also have to buy most maps, so there are times where you're just running blind. We've all gotten lost, but the great thing about this world is the community inside of it. Many times a more experienced player will help set you on the right track, or maybe the person you've run into is lost as well, so you end up working together and finding your way. This is just one way how friends are made here. And it's truly a beautiful thing, and so much of the game is community driven. Quite a bit of this has been lost due to players quitting and the nature of retail, but there are private servers out there which replicate the feel of the old days, the days I was too young to properly enjoy. It's great to be back in this magical place, although it's been 20 years. It's finally time to carve out my story. Thanks for watching, and I really hope to see you there.